To answer your question, no. There is no one else here with me. Actually, I'm younger than that. 4.79 years old. My name is Jung. I already know yours. Verbal queries are a sloppy redundancy. Thoughts are quicker. We can skip the questions and go straight to the... You were staring at my head. I know what you were thinking about my head. You shouldn't have such thoughts. Stop thinking about my head. My apologies. Manners. You want to know about the Fear Nothing Foundation. This school and others like it are a part of an Archie initiative. To use youth programs to study and develop certain ultra-natural talents in children. I am one of their more promising products. Fear Nothing hung around, collecting the dregs and dropouts of these programs. After the bomb, one of them came for me. A mean man. His head was like a snow globe, full of eels. He threatened me, so I very politely asked him to forget how to breathe. He complied. Fear Nothing is an adjunct of the Morning Light. Did you know that? Morning Light, Fear Nothing, Archie, they are all intertwined. There is a Fear Nothing recruitment centre downtown. But you've already been there. There is a more secret place for the gifted children. It's hidden somewhere beneath the suburbs. It's called the Clubhouse. I took that name from the mean man's head. They left clues in the ciphers of their own literature, so that the more canny students could find it. The other children used to bully me so very fiercely. It's all about dominance and hierarchy on the playground. They were Philistines and troglodytes all. Now, I have dominion of the playground. The swings, the slide, the seesaw, all mine. Just me. My biography would not command a high word count. I have not lived very long. Not in real time. In dream time, however, I have lived a vastly more... Well, that is a subject too complex to explain to you in this venue. I could squeeze it directly into your mind, but it would hurt, and that is not polite. I was born. My intelligence and psychic abilities were noticed soon after I was born. The capacity to move objects, project images, sift through the thoughts of others. I cannot imagine I was easy to care for in that larval stage, thinking only larval thoughts. What is more primordial than an infant? What is closer to the waters of our amphibian ancestry? What is further from morality? I vaguely remember the faces of my caretakers. The turnover rate was frightfully high. I was enrolled in Orochi's Rising Star program. Never mind my real name. That's locked away in their vaults and mainframes. They called me Subject 28. Later, they called me Jung, for my propensity in quoting the famous psychologist. Since the explosion, I have had trouble sensing anything outside Kaidan. The static disruption is significant, and perhaps malevolent. The world is not secret to me. All of your minds scream so loudly. I see everyone around me hiding behind glass. Everything is transparent. A rather terrible aquarium, and I keep looking. Their minds are highly conditioned. All of the defining sharp angles and edges worn down to a bovine dullness. Their mindscapes look just like those of the morning light, only a different season. The Archie controlled the specialized school system, their rising star program. Their hubris was so obnoxious, as was being taught by people whose intelligence was several orders of magnitude below mine. To be constantly surrounded by such people. I do my best to be patient and polite. Like right now, for example. I could detect an erratic collection of thoughts. Hippity-hoppity thoughts. They hopped around so fast. It was as if they were in many places at once. They are very nasty thoughts. And very, very fast, even for the speed of thought. The signal is cutting off its own patterns, shedding what's left of its identity, so that it can become something else. I'm not surprised I was left behind. I am certainly not bitter. My gifts allow me to protect myself and this playground. It is mine now. All of the past humiliations here are just echoes. They are nothing. Loneliness is just craving for something containing naught but empty calories. Terror is not about sweating, screaming, or running. Those things are incidental. Terror, real terror, is having all of our illusions, all the ways we like to present ourselves to the world, torn down. We have no choice but to see the naked truth of ourselves. No one ever likes what they see. Are you brave enough to examine yourself that closely, I wonder? There is a shared space of thought between humanity, the collective unconscious. It is not theoretical. I have been there. It is a metaphor, true, but it is a place where metaphors can cut. In that place, there is a shape-shifting pantheon of thought patterns, the Jungian Archetypes. One of those archetypes is the shadow. It dwells in the collective unconscious, and it dwells in each of us. We do not like to acknowledge it, and that makes it angry sometimes. Carl Jung codified this pantheon of archetypes. They serve as the many aspects of ourselves. Confronting them can increase our capacity for psychological growth. In your memories, I see a series of choices. Do you understand the ramification of those choices, I wonder? I offer you a chance to explore your past. I can take you to a place where archetypes walk and metaphors become solid geometry. I suspect that you need to confront your shadow. No thanks required. To defeat one's enemies, one must know the self. I must have read that somewhere. The archetypes might wear familiar faces, but they are all pieces of you. Every choice is a door. I mislike opening adult doors. Messy, messy creatures. Every growing mind needs a guide. Our parents, biological or surrogate, are there as observational lessons to teach us right from wrong and the consequences of a life lived poorly. Not all people have this advantage. Sometimes accidents happen. Did you leave your parents behind, or did they leave you? You had no one to watch over you. Perhaps you took slivers of mentorship from those you met along the way. A difficult road to navigate. But perhaps it was easier to dive into the secret world with so few attachments behind you. Often we are defined by those around us. Did you define yourself by the presence of your friends, or by their absence? You did not walk among friends. Was this by choice, or were you ostracized? Think back. Focus on those quiet nights when only your shadow accompanied you. When you left your mundane life so abruptly, there were casualties. A partner or romance that you left behind, perhaps. Or simply desires that you discarded for your new existence. This is understandable. To achieve individuation, you must remember them and choose. You chose to walk alone. Yours was a self-reliant, if lonely, path. Focus now on the lessons you learned, the self-discoveries. Children. The biological imperative. Did you sire offspring? Did you choose to have no children? Or was that the hand that was dealt to you? Is parenthood something you saw in a hypothetical future? Think back. The shadow aspect. The archetype is built out of the mad science medley of the traits your ego hides from itself. A sleight of hand show for an audience of one. This is the portion of you hidden in the unconscious, the part of the iceberg below the water. Focus. Let it rise. Let it manifest. Interesting. What do you think it says about you that you gave your shadow that form? Sometimes we feel small and insubstantial. Just look into the mirror and remember all of those different people you have been. All of those different stages of development. Every choice created a new you. So many yous. You are still all of those people. You have access to all of their gifts and flaws. We are all of us, a legion of archetypes unto ourselves. We are a multitude. We have so many dimensions. We are never truly alone.